I know you've referenced this before, the block that Staley made in the playoff game against the Saints. Do you remember watching that and what your initial impressions were when you did see it?
When I saw it live?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was like a tight end that pulled because that dude was moving at first. And then I saw it was an offensive lineman. And I was like, holy cow, that's incredible. I think like I think I appreciate it more now, like knowing like Joe and just his mindset when it comes to football and, how much he loves, being a splash guy out in front, where the TVs are seeing him. But I just appreciate it a little bit more because like you just know who Joe is and like how those are the plays he made day in and day out. And when he makes one like that, gives them the lead, it's just pretty amazing.
Hey, George, it's Tracy. Thank you for doing this. Do you remember your first ever interaction with Joe and what that was like?
Oh, wow. I know that I knew that he was a lot older than me, so I was slightly intimidated. I don't know if I talked to him for the first couple of days during OTAs. I just kind of avoided him because he was old and scarier. But I just like one of my first memories of Joe was just, I think I said this in a video, just after an OTAs practice, he's just completely out of the blue, came up, put his arm around me. It was just like, hey, if you don't screw this up, you could actually be a decent football player. So just keep your head on straight. And that was the whole conversation. And I probably won't ever forget that one.
Hey, George, it's Matt Mayoko. We saw that video you did, I think it was Saturday, where you got pretty emotional. What is it about Joe and the impact that he made on you and so many other young players that kind of elicits that kind of response?
Well, I don't think there's enough. I mean, there's not enough that you could say about Joe Staley. He's absolutely incredible in everything that he does. For me personally, like one of my favorite things about Joe is he embodies absolutely everything about football that I think, football should be about. Like the hardworking, the grit, how much fun he has playing the game, the work he puts into it, how much better he is at, playing that position than a lot of other people in the league. And, how much he just loves the game of football. And basically everything that Joe Staley, has done, the things that he showed me in the 3 years I got to play with him and his dedication to it just, reinforced my love for the game of football. And he just always encouraged me to be the best football player I could possibly be and just to always love the game and always enjoy the little things. And, that's the same lessons I've been learning from my dad my entire life, who I feel like you guys know is my best friend, who I get letters from, who all, all of Joe Staley's messages kind of fall in line with the things that my dad said. So it was always pretty easy for me to look up to Joe Staley and always either ask him for advice, or I would just always know that he had something to say to me to, pick me up, whether it was in a game or just to get me motivated to get going. And, I'll just always appreciate Joe, and I'll miss him for that.
Hey, George, it's Nick. I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned the fun that Joe had and the kind of the balance that he always struck between having fun and taking his job seriously. I know that's something you strive for as well. How much did he influence you in terms of kind of maybe showing you the way in how to strike that balance, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think Joe, like you said, he does such a great job of that. He did day in and day out. He was probably, there are times and he pushed that balance too. Like he was never right on the line. He always stepped over the line, and that's what he excelled at. He was great at that. But I mean, just by being himself every day is what showed me, how to do it. He's like, hey, just don't be something you're not. If you're going to show up and be that guy, then show up and be that guy every single day. And I think that he said that to multiple people, but definitely struck a chord with me. And so he always just said, hey, just be consistent. Don't show up, and be super excited for the first 3 days of camp. And then when your body starts, getting sore and stuff, like to turn into some other person, that's not even worth my time. So I always just try to be this exact same person, like Joe was every single day.
Hey, George, this is Eric. Nice work with Bud Light. I was wondering, Joe talked about the physical issues, he had. There was the broken leg and finger surgery on top of 12 seasons in the NFL before that. Did you have a sense of, physically, emotionally, what he may was going through last year just to get through the season?
Yes and no. I mean, like I knew what he was going through just because I was on the same team as him. I was in the training room with him, just doing rehab and stuff like that. But I think Joe did such a great job. Like he gets the process of it. He gets that he's our leader. And so I think he did a great job of just leading by example, and he just took every single day, one day at a time. And I don't think he hid anything from anybody, but he just did a really good job of just, like I said, showing up being the same guy, whether he was hurt or not. But I think he did a great job of just being the same guy he was every single day. I don't think he was hiding anything or anything like that. But no, I mean, I couldn't really notice how much it impacted him. You can always tell, like, when guys are hurt, like you hate missing games and stuff like that. But he was so great at, picking up everyone else's spirits during that time that he was gone.
George, it's Cam. And on that note, after the last game, you and a few other players talked about just the pain of losing the Super Bowl and you wanted to win it for Joe. Did that become a theme as the year was going on, that this might be Joe's only chance? Was there an eternal drive that way with you guys of wanting to win it for Joe?
I don't think so. I think Joe actually said, he goes, this isn't for me, this is for the team. I think he said that before. So I wouldn't say that, the team was inspired by Joe's last season. I'm banking on Joe playing another 3 years. So that just the fact that he retired is more tough than anything. But I think, just like I said, the attitude that Joe showed up with all the time, and who he is as a person, I think that just kind of inspired guys to want to play at the same level that he was playing at. And Joe played at an elite level for every year of his career. The Pro Bowls and the All Pros, that all shows that. But I think that was more of an inspiring thing for me and the guys on the team.
Hey, Joe. It's Joe. Hey, George. It's Jennifer. I mean, there are so many different moments with you and Joe, like the carpool karaoke, different things. What is your favorite all-time Joe Staley memory?
You could have prepped me for this, man. Come on. Let's see. One of my favorite, I'd say, like, just my favorite memories of Joe would most of them just be on the football field. Just all the little conversations we had throughout each and every game, whether it was like him helping me out, like on a blitz or in between plays. I know there's like a play in the Vikings game I got rolled up on, and he picked me up and he says, "You don't ever let anyone see you hurt. You never let, like, these guys need to look at you and they need to look up to you. Don't let everyone ever see you like that." But he always did a great job of, like, he was very inspirational and very motivational. And I think me and him kind of have the same mindset in that we both play the game of football very physically and kind of old school. But we just kind of connected in that way. And I think the conversations that we had on the field are going to be what I miss the most, because it could have been just a sentence here or a sentence there. Like when Joe caught the ball against the Broncos and we lost 5 yards, but it picked the whole stadium up. Like stuff like that. Those are what the memories that I'm going to really miss. There's an unlimited amount of stories I could tell about Joe Staley, but I'll have to save a lot of those because I have to save those. Can't tell you guys everything.
Hey George, it's David. Along those lines, Joe obviously was a tight end before he became a tackle, and one of the most famous plays, or the one that you see on YouTube every once in a while, is him catching, I think, a 17-yard pass back in 2011. Are you familiar with it? Did Joe ever bring that up? And I'm just wondering if you do feel, that you guys had the same origin bond since he was a tight end at one point.
Oh, I've seen the play. I was talking to Joe, I think leading into the Super Bowl, like we had to get him a touchdown in the Super Bowl because I thought that'd be pretty cool. It didn't pan out though, so I wish I could have gotten that one done for him. But I know he retired with a 17, what he had, like 17 yards per catch average or something like that. Yeah. That's not bad. That's pretty impressive. That's a legend right there. But I mean, other than that, no. I mean, he's just incredible overall.
Kyle, go ahead.
Hey, George, Kyle Posey, Niners Nation, go Hawks. I want to know, when did you first know, when were you first in awe of Joe Staley?
I mean, as a rookie when I walked in, and I knew that he was at that time going into his 11th year, I think. And I was like, I'm just trying to make it 1 year. So that was just kind of an in-awe moment for me. And then this, like, seeing a guy who's been in it that long and who still shows up and he just works every single day with the same mindset. There was a time, I think it was 2018, he came in on a Monday after one of our 4 wins, and I think he got after a little bit the night before, but he PR'd on his max squat reps with McGlinchey, and I thought that was pretty impressive. So I was kind of in awe then. But Joe's a guy that I've kind of always been in awe of. Like I said, he's an old school guy. I feel like I've always kind of bonded with him just because I feel like we have similar mindsets, and so just basically everything that he did, I always just tried to be like a sponge and just kind of absorb everything that Joe was doing, whether it was his work ethic, whether it was how he studied, whether it's how he talked to guys, or how he held himself accountable every single day. The list just goes on and on for all the things that Joe Staley's done right.
Hey, George, it's Kate Rooney from Crom 4. Thanks for doing this. Have you gotten the chance to watch any Trent Williams over the years? And if so, what do you think he's going to bring to the team, and how different will it look with him there?
So fun fact, Trent Williams' senior year of college, they played in the Sun Bowl against Stanford. And me and my dad were actually on the sideline for that game because my dad was friends with Bob Stoops. So I actually met Trent Williams when I was a sophomore in high school, which was pretty cool. And that was actually pretty fun for me. So I've reached out to Trent. We've talked a couple times. I'm really looking forward to having him on the team. I heard Mike say it's pretty incredible to be able to replace a 6-time Pro Bowler with a 7-time Pro Bowler. So we're looking forward to that. But yeah, I mean, I've seen plenty of Trent Williams tape, and we watch a lot of the Redskins stuff, and he's an absolute monster. So I'm really just looking forward to getting lined up next to him.
George, this is Chris again. A theme that
No. You get one.
I'm going to ask it anyway. A theme of the conversations that we're having with you and Mike is Joe's obviously rubbed off a lot on you guys, and him being a leader of the team, a captain of the team. I'm just curious as to how you go about replacing some of those leadership qualities that Joe's going to be gone.
Well, I don't think there's any replacing Joe Staley, but I think what Joe did such a great job of was he did instill a lot of values and virtues into most of the team and all the guys that he got to communicate with. So I think what the great thing is we're gonna have guys, and we're all gonna have an opportunity to step up and kind of fill the shoes that Joe left behind. And I don't think there's any one person that can do it, but I think we have a great group of guys that can come together to fill that role. And I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm really looking forward to see who steps up, including myself and Mike and a lot of offensive guys, a lot of defensive guys. So we have a great team, and like I said, I think I think Joe did a great job of talking and inspiring a lot of guys. So I think he's gonna improve our team for the next, for multiple years to come, even though he's retired.
Hi, George. This is Carlos Ramirez from Telemundo and the Spanish broadcast for the team. Watching the emotional video you put out for Joe, I was wondering, where did you go to that brought you to tears? I mean, what did you remember that specifically made you cry beyond the relationship you have with Joe? Is there a specific moment that he picked you up, that something happened that you just cried?
Like I said, I just started thinking of my favorite memories of Joe, and my favorite memories of Joe are everything on the field, the conversations we had. So it's sad to know that you're not going to have those conversations anymore, like never again. I'll never share a field with Joe Staley. So that's kind of where the emotion comes out when you lose guys like Garrett Selleck retires. Very similar response, but definitely just when guys move on, you're never going to play with them again. It's tough because that's who you've built a relationship with, and then all of a sudden, they're not gone, but they're not there with you. 8 months or 7-8 months out of the year, training with you, going through the grind and all that stuff. So you're just going to miss them, and it is what it is, and you got to find a way to move on.